We're less than a week away from the NFL trade deadline, and on this edition of Ravens Rundown, we'll break down Baltimore's top 3 trade candidates of who they could possibly be wheeling and dealing come next week. Let's begin with Rashod Bateman at the wide receiver position. Of the 3 players that we're talking about today, Bateman is the one with the most potential. A former first-round pick who was expected to be the Ravens' #1 receiver last year, got injured early. He's been on and off the injury report in the first 3 seasons of his career, and we've seen him show some flashes at times, but so far throughout 2023, the theme that we've seen with Rashod Bateman is that he's become an afterthought of sorts in this Ravens offense. Zay Flowers has been fantastic. There's been much attention about OBJ, of course, Mark Andrews. Even Nelson Aguilar has been arguably more productive and made a bigger name for himself this year than even Rashod Bateman has. So what kind of value could you get for Rashod Bateman? We'll tell you in a moment, but first, help us get to 13,000 subscribers here on Ravens Rundown. We are just over 200 away from that next milestone. For daily Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, live shows, watch parties, Q&As, and more, this is the channel for the diehard Ravens fan. Subscribe now for free. Join the family. If the Ravens do make a trade before the deadline, you know we're going to be all over it, covering it here on the channel. Subscribe now for free. Let's get to 13K. The numbers from Rashod Bateman, they ain't that great, if we're going to be frank with you. So far throughout 2023, his role has not been great. 118 yards, 9.8 yards a reception. The year prior, just 15 catches, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. That rookie season was okay, 515 yards, a touchdown, 46 receptions, but he just never really has come into his own right. And you look at his role in this receiving corps, this is a Ravens team that has championship aspirations, that feels like they can be one of the best teams in the AFC. And if Bateman's not good enough, if he can't hang with Flowers and Andrews and Aguilar and OBJ and those guys, then the Ravens might be better off to try to get something out of Bateman or be in a position where they decide to go get a different receiver of some sorts, as there's plenty of potential trade options out there of receivers, as we've talked about on the channel recently, of those guys out there. So Rashod Bateman, I would say, at best, you're looking at maybe a 4th-round pick. It's not the return on investment that you would have hoped for a former first-round pick, but best-case scenario, you're looking at maybe a 4th-round pick of what you could get at Rashod Bateman. So it could be a situation where you're just saying, do we cut our losses and move on at this point and take that 4th-round pick while we can? What do you think? Should the Ravens trade Rashod Bateman? It's our pinned comment today. Why for yes, in for no? Let us know in that comment section what you think, if it's time to move on from Bateman or not. Number 2 on our list is Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley, the Pro Bowler from last year. And if we're going to be frank, was arguably the worst Pro Bowler of all time. Look, it's no secret that offensive coordinator Todd Monken is not the biggest fan of Tyler Huntley by any means, as they were very fervent on looking at replacing him. Josh Johnson was given plenty of opportunities to win that QB2 job throughout training camp and into the preseason, getting the majority of the reps, but ultimately couldn't get the job done. And what we've heard over the last year or two is that there are teams that do like Huntley's game, that he has stepped in for Lamar Jackson, and he's shown some flashes at moments, but it's inconsistency. And the big concern for me is his passing ability, especially in this offense that Todd Monken runs compared to what you had previously with Greg Roman. There is more of a demand for a quality passing quarterback, even as the backup, and Tyler Huntley does not appear to be that. More on Huntley and his trade value in a moment, but first, today's show sponsored by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. Chatsports.com/bet. The odds for this weekend's game between your Baltimore Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals, the Ravens are favored. The superior bird, according to BetUS, 9 points to be exact. Over-under, 44 and a half. If you want to bet on this game as well as Ravens football all season long, you can do so. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. So right now the Ravens are carrying 3 quarterbacks, and it's been on and off for Josh Johnson between the active roster and the practice squad. But I think deep down that Todd Monken likes Josh Johnson better than Tyler Huntley, despite being that number 3 quarterback. It's kind of, we've seen Harbaugh stay loyal to Tyler Huntley, if that makes sense. And you look at the numbers from Tyler Huntley. Although we've seen him win some pretty decent football games, the numbers are atrocious, if we're going to be frank. Last year as a Pro Bowler, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 67% completion percentage. In 2021, over 1,000 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and then a 60% completion percentage in 2020. 2023, he's only thrown 1 pass so far to this point, so that's why you see zeros across the board for those 2 games that he did see game action in. Best case scenario for Tyler Huntley, I think, is a 5th-round pick, potentially. And that even might be a stretch to try to get a 5th-round pick for Tyler Huntley. I think the reason why we point to that 5th, though, is just because of that demand for quarterbacks, that every team needs multiple quarterbacks, and that Huntley is liked and well-respected from around the rest of the NFL. Which quarterback do you think should be the Ravens' QB2 going forward? Is it Huntley or is it Josh Johnson? If you think it should be Tyler Huntley, type TH for Tyler Huntley. If you think it should be Josh Johnson, type JJ for Josh Johnson. Let us know in that comment section which quarterback you rather have. Last on our trade targets list is Devin Duvernay, the wide receiver and return specialist for the Baltimore Ravens. And I'll say this, for this Baltimore Ravens team, they are spending $4 million this year on Devin Duvernay. And he's MIA on offense. Sure, he's a very good return specialist. He's been All-Pro, and he's done a very good job there. Nobody's arguing about his abilities as a return specialist. But a guy that's MIA on offense that has done jiddly jack squat, why on earth would I want to pay $4 million for that? And it's not just a matter of saving $4 million for my pocketbook. It's the idea of saving $4 million potentially to spend elsewhere on other things. You look at the statistics for Devin Duvernay, woof. Last year was a golden opportunity for him with the injuries to Rashod Bateman and the rest of that receiving core for him to step up. And all he could really do was manage 37 receptions, 407 yards, 11 yards of reception, and 3 touchdowns. That was it. And the Ravens couldn't have a consistent passing game. 2021, he managed 33 catches, 272 yards. 2020, 20 catches for 201 yards. And this year, I'm not kidding when I say MIA. Literally, 2 catches, dose, for 8 yards this year. That's all he's done at this point. You might be able to get a 7th-round pick. And honestly, I would gladly take that 7th-round pick. Save that $4 million. Get that pick. I can go spend it on something else and be a lot better off than having to deal with Devin Duvernay. And the Ravens have plenty of other players that could be return specialists. So if you're saying to yourself, well, nobody's as good as Devin Duvernay in the return game, you might be right. But there's going to be somebody that can step up into that role, and the Ravens special teams unit be just fine. Should the Ravens trade Devin Duvernay? What do you think? T for trade, K for keep. Chime in. Tell us what you think. You know how I feel. I'm trading off Devin Duvernay. I'm typing K for keep. What are you typing in that comment section? Let us know. T for trade, K for keep, and we will see you next time right here on Ravens Rundown.